Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Skull Servant Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile for December 2019. This is probably one of my favorite zombie decks out there in the Yu-Gi-Oh TCG, and I want to do an update to the deck. It's been quite some time since the last update. We haven't actually gotten any new Skull Servant cards as of late, but I just always like to keep the deck up to date because it is a really fun deck if you're looking to build any zombie decks. Definitely recommend giving Skull Servants a try. It was one of the first zombie decks out there, and just with all the different monsters we have that work with the Skull Servants to get out the different ones, special summon, and then go off of King of the Skull Servants, which is our true powerhouse in the deck, really makes for an awesome deck. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for our main monster, I run 3 Skull Servants. This is one of your main go-to cards for setup on the field, revolving around King of the Skull Servants. Skull Servant is the card that builds up the power of King of the Skull Servants, so just having this additional number of Skull Servants in the deck definitely does help. And the fact that it is a normal monster means we have some other cards in the deck to make it easier to special summon out onto the field. I only have the 1 Ultra. I do love the deck. I am still looking to fully foil out the version of the deck. Maybe next deck profile I'll finally have my 3 ultra rares, but until then, any Skull Servants will do. I think they even had some in the Speed Duel pack if you're looking for an easier version to get for the deck. And going off of the main powerhouse in the deck, I run 3 King of the Skull Servants. The original attack of this card becomes the number of King of the Skull Servants and Skull Servant cards in your graveyard times 1,000. When this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard as a result of battle, remove from play 1 other King of the Skull Servants or Skull Servant cards in your graveyard to special summon this card. So if your opponent keeps attacking into this card or manages to get over it, you can just easily special summon it back onto the field by banishing another one. It will be a little weaker than when it was on the field previously, since you do have to remove one of the Skull Servant cards, but still you can make up for full power just by setting up more cards come next turn for all the different Skull Servant monsters we run in the deck. So you definitely need 3 of this card, so you always have the option to summon down on the field. Even if you just draw it and then normal summon it out, it'll hit that power number unless your opponent obviously uses Effect Veiler or something like that. But if that's the case, you can easily summon out another one with all the different zombies we run in the deck to special summon out your Skull Servants. For some of the additional support for the Skull Servants, I run 3 White Prints. With this one, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can send 1 Skull Servant and 1 Lady in White from your hand or deck to the graveyard. You can banish 2 Skull Servants and this card from your graveyard to special summon 1 King of the Skull Servants from your deck. This card's name becomes Skull Servant while it is in the graveyard. So just by having this card sent to the graveyard, you can send 1 Skull Servant and 1 Lady in White from your hand and or deck to the graveyard. Just that graveyard setup alone is really, really great, because then you can also, if you don't already have King of the Skull Servants out, set up the special summon using White Prints as well for that special summon play. Using the cards you invested for the send, but still I would say worth it if you just need to get out this card onto the field to use. And I also run, to match White Prince, I run 3 White Princess. With this one, this card's name becomes Skull Servant while it is in the graveyard. If this card is normal or special summon, you can send 1 White Prince from your deck to the graveyard. During either player's turn, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard. All monsters currently on the field lose attack and defense equal to their own level or rank times 300 until the end of this turn. So just for the setup of White Prince alone, because when this card is sent, you'll get the additional sends to the graveyard, so White Princess definitely does help with that. And the fact that it's also treated as Skull Servant like all the other ones is just the added bonus for the power up, having plenty of different of the Skull Servant family to use for these plays. Some of the older ones, but still very, very useful in the deck, I run 3 White Mare. With this one, while it's in the graveyard, this card's name is treated as Skull Servant. You can discard this card to activate one of the following effects. You can select one of your remove from play Skull Servants or White Mare, return it to the graveyard, or select one of your remove from play Lady in White or King of Skull Servants and special summon it. So just having the return effect helps for setting up cards again in the graveyard to reuse, or just giving you the special summon for some of your important cards, whether it is King of the Skull Servants or Lady in White, which Lady in White helps with protection on the field, while King of the Skull Servants for the 100th time already is your powerhouse card in the deck. And to finish off the Skull Servant family, I run 2 Lady in White. I only decided to run 2 of this card. It's very, very easy to set up in the graveyard, and really only has the benefit for the protection on the field effect. But face up, level 3 or lower zombie type monsters on the field except Lady in White cannot be destroyed by battle and are unaffected by spell and trap effects. This card's name becomes Skull Servant while it is in the graveyard. So just having the 2200, if you can easily special summon this card out onto the field using White Mare, it'll give you the protection for all your other Skull Servant family on the field, and then just having this for that play definitely does come in handy. But like I said, you really only need it once you set it up in the graveyard. You really don't need any other cards to go off of, since White Prince can also just special summon or send to set up the Lady in White in the graveyard. That's why I feel you definitely need 3 of all the other Skull Servants just for those numbers to really reach up in the ranks, but also just needing 2 Lady in White, since like I said, it's reusable, is all you need. For the additional zombie support, I also run 3 Mizuki. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 zombie monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. Just another option to summon out any of the Skull Servant family cards. Most of the time I go for King of the Skull Servant, since it's my powerhouse play card in the deck. But like I said, just having the Mizuki option in the graveyard available is why I really do like this card. For additional support for setting up Mizuki, I run 2 Gozuki. I was debating if I wanted to run a Shiranui skeleton in the deck or not, but I decided just to go with the pure zombie support, so Mizuki and Gozuki really do help. For that, during your main phase, you can send 1 zombie monster from your deck to the graveyard. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can banish 1 zombie monster from your graveyard, except Gozuki, to special summon 1 zombie monster from your hand. You can only use each effect of Gozuki once per turn. The send effect helps for the Mizuki plays, but then having plenty of different zombie monsters to run in the deck as well to summon out with Gozuki is just an added benefit for this card for the setup. And then lastly, for the zombie cards in the deck, just for additional setup, I run 2 Unizombie as well. Being a tuner gives us access to the synchro plays in the deck, but also just being able to target 1 face-up monster in the field, discard a card. If you do increase the target's level by 1, it helps for the adjustment, but also just being able to send a zombie monster from the deck to the graveyard. You can only attack with zombies the turn, but it's not really that much of a negative benefit. Just giving you more and more send effects, whether it be from the hand or the deck to the graveyard, just sets up more and more of your Skull Servant family monsters to use. So Unizombie is very, very useful for that also. And that's it for the monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. I run 3 Allure of Darkness. Just aside from Gozuki and Mizuki and the White Princess, everything else in the deck is dark. So just having the draw power and other cards in the deck that help to put the zombie monsters back into the graveyard to use in the form of White Mare is very, very useful for your draw power, and then just for the recycle as well. And I also run 2 Book of Life. Now, if I don't want to invest in the Banish for the special summon, I can use the Book of Life to summon back a zombie monster in the graveyard back onto the field, and then also banish a monster from my opponent's graveyard, which can really help to take away some of the needed cards they might have needed for their own plays, while giving me another monster on the field to use. I also run Monster Reborn, which we'll get to in a sec. I just wanted more and more special summon options, since that is the main focus of the deck, to always revive these zombie monsters from the graveyard back onto the field. Since Skull Servant is a normal monster, I was testing it out. I really do like 2 Unexpected Die in the deck as well. Early game, when you open it up, just being able to get a Skull Servant out on the field, then being able to link away the Skull Servant and setting it up in the graveyard for cards like Link Haribo, and then still not taking up your normal summon is a definite help for sure, just to also sift through the normal monster Skull Servant cards also. I gave it a try. I really do like the 2 in the deck. For some of the other one-ofs, I run 1 Foolish Burial, 1 1-for-1, and 1 Monster Reborn. More special summoning along with the Book of Life. 1-for-1 can grab almost any of the Skull Servant family from the deck to special summon it onto the field, depending on what you need. Also, the Send 1 monster can help set up other ones in the graveyard for you to reuse. And Foolish Burial, I love going for Mizuki with that card, just because then I can banish Mizuki to special summon another Skull Servant from the graveyard that might have already been there. Depends when I open up Foolish Burial in the game as well. And also, with the plenty of different level 1 monsters I run in the deck, I also run 3 Where Art Thou. With this one, if you control a face-up level 1 monster, add 1 level 1 monster from your deck to your hand. During the end phase of the turn, take 2,000 damage if you did not normal summon the added monster or a card with the same name after activating this card. So I can easily get a level 1 monster on the field, cards like Unexpected Die, Book of Life, then activate Where Art Thou, and then normal summon that monster and not have to take the 2,000 life point damage. I don't run anything that costs life in the deck, so if I have to spend it, as long as I have the life to spend, it's fine. But that search just really, really helps, because I can get a specific one I need, where, Unexpected Die, I can only special summon Skull Servants, and 1-for-1 is sadly at 1 of in the deck. Otherwise, it would be very useful to have multiple copies of that. But 3 Where Art Thou definitely does help as well. And to finish off the spells, just 3 Call by the Grave. We have plenty of special summoning, so whether it's just the hand trap or if my opponent goes for Effect Veiler and I really need King of the Skull Servants to keep its attack on the field, Call by the Grave helps just to stop that play and then go for the powerhouse play using King of the Skull Servants. And that's it for the main deck. When I move on to the extra deck, I run 2 Vampire Sucker. I really do like the Zombie Link option for this card. You can target 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to your opponent's field and defense, but its level becomes a zombie monster. Or if a zombie monster is special summoned from either graveyard, draw 1 card. So with all the different special summoning we do with the Skull Servants in the deck, being able to have the draw power along with this card and Allure of Darkness just helps for the overall play. And you just need 2 zombie monsters to make it, so you can set up more zombie monsters in your graveyard to use also, which is why I like to run 2 of this card, just so you always have the option to go into it. I also run 2 Link Haribo, just, if I have that option. This card could be a good shield on the field compared to some of the other Skull Servants, just leaving them on the field against my opponent. And also, I run 1 Underclock Taker, 1 Wee Witch's Apprentice, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Star Yugioh, especially with all the different ones, if I can recycle them back to use if I have some unneeded cards in the hand, and 1 Borreload Dragon for when I can go for some of the more bigger power plays. And then for the Synchros, I run 1 Stardust Charge Warrior just as the level 6 option when I need it for the draw power or just attacking into my opponent's monsters. 1 F.A. Dawn Dragster. I don't really have too many other options that help against spell or traps in the deck. 1 Black Rose Dragon and 1 Beals using the Dark Tuner, which is Unizombie, to make this card. Definitely does help and come in handy when I can get the level up to 8. But that is it for the deck profile. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Twig out.